We all see the world how we choose to see it. We all look through different windows to see what's outside. Unfortunately, this is the window that so many people choose to see it through. Let's just say that I hardly get out. I work, come home, eat dinner, watch TV, then go to bed. Thus, TV is one of my only windows to the outside world. Let's just say I'm scared. The news is like a Stephen King novel, just one long string of scary events. And usually, the only happy ending is the weather. And in Seattle, it's usually not all that happy. So many realities aren't even represented. Why? Because they probably wouldn't get good ratings. Now, let's look at my life as an ethnic person in the form of a sitcom. I get up, I go to school, I come home right after school, because I can't be out when it's dark. Because you know what the news says happens after the dark. My homework is number one as soon as I get home, because bad grades aren't acceptable from where I come from. There's 2 languages spoken in my house, and when I speak to my parents, I speak in broken English because they don't know it that well. And most of the time, that's how I think, so I have trouble when I'm writing essays. My homework takes up most of my night. Mom, there's this really nice boy at school.
I don't want to hear it. You know you can't date until you're 25.
She's not kidding. And it's not just my culture. Other girls also have to see through a window with bars on it. There are so many ethnic girls that aren't allowed to date until they graduate from college. And when you do, it should be someone from your own culture. And yet, most boys from the same culture are allowed to date in high school. How does that work? What do they think is going to happen if I date a white or black guy? Or maybe even another Asian guy who's not from my culture? Do they think that my culture is just going to spill out of my ears? They tell me not to be racist, but they're segregating and stereotyping. At least it would make a good reality show. The adventures of ethnic girls trying to date boys while at the same time praying to escape from arranged marriages. I will carry my culture on for the rest of my life with pride. Somehow, we have to find a balance between freedom and trust, from parents to daughters, from all cultures, especially mine. If you hold on too tight, all we're going to do is just push away. But if we prove that we're trustworthy, then show us some freedom. We have to be able to make mistakes. That's just life. We're not going to forget our culture if we're allowed to have a little fun. One way or another, this needs to change. I don't know about you, but from now on, I refuse to look at the outside world through a window with bars on it.
Before and after.
Lose 10 pounds in just 30 days.
That sexy body that you always wanted.
Just 20 minutes a day, 3 days a week. Without exercising.
Zesty, spicy, piping hot.
2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce and cheese.
Bet you can't put them down. Why fight it? Party till you can't anymore, but live responsibly.
Do you like to help people? Then be all you can be.
The
essence of style and elegance. Imagine yourself in one.
Hurry up and call, folks. We just have a couple left.
Get back in step. May cause drowsiness, itching, swelling, dry mouth, and extreme headaches.
You don't like the way you look? Neither do we. But buy a product, then you look the way you should.
Think you're ugly? Let's face it, you are. Here's how you can look a little more like better looking people.
Looks good, doesn't it? It has more sugar, fat, and calories than you need in an entire day. But you know you want to eat it. We know you do.
Just think how cool you look with this. We know that you can't afford it, and you don't need it.
If you buy what I'm wearing, you'll look just like me. Okay, not really, because only 5% of the population does. But if you buy this, it's a lot easier to pretend.
We are slapped across the face with these things every day, and we don't realize it.
People telling and showing us what we should look like, eat, and do.
If we choose to watch these things or not,
We have to remember that what we see is their opinions and not fact.
Don't let others determine what we look like and what we do.
Because we're all beautiful.
She's weird.
Why does she look like that?
What is she trying to prove?
Shut up! You're thinking so loud that it's hurting my ears. Sometimes I just wish people would speak what they think, and then that way their ignorance would get dealt with. So I bet you're wondering, she's so young. How could her parents let her do something like that to herself? Well, let me explain. My stepfather was always really laid back. He always treated me more like a friend than a daughter. So, when I wanted to get my belly button pierced, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go get my belly button pierced. And he was like, hey, okay. The first piercing I ever got was when I was 11. It took my mom a while to get used to it, and she felt like, why do you have those things in? Don't you know what they look like? But after a while, I think she realized what everyone else should. That your body is the one thing that you truly possess, and she wouldn't want anyone telling her what she could or couldn't do with hers. So a little respect goes a long way. So I was walking down the hall this one time, and I heard somebody say, oh, she dresses like that just to get attention. Well, if you just asked me, you'd find out that I'm really into fashion. Just maybe not your type of fashion. Did you ever think that the reason why I wear these things and look the way that I do is simply because I want to? I mean, why do you wear what you do? Like that polo shirt? Or those Ugg boots? Is it because you like the way that they look? Or the way that they look on you? Or maybe it's because it's what everyone else is wearing and you don't like standing out.
Does anybody know what's currently going on in Israel? Jenny? Can anyone tell me what country gives money to Israel's military? Amanda?
Tons of times I've had things to say in class, and teachers just pass me over. And it's like, oh, so you're not even going to talk to me just because of the way that I look? I guess when people don't understand why you look the way that you do, it's just easier for them to ignore you. So when a woman is walking down the street with her kid, and she moves to the other side of the sidewalk, that's a pretty apparent sign. And other people are like, look at that crazy white girl. But if you didn't know, I'm half Latina. A couple of weeks ago, a guy came up to me and interrupted me talking with my friends at a bus stop. He said, excuse me, I just wanted to let you know that God just told me right now you need to get out of the darkness. And I said, excuse me? What is the darkness? And he's like, oh, All the black. So what about businesswomen? They might wear all black. Does that mean that they're in the darkness? I wonder what the world would be like if everybody could just wear what they want. Then maybe we would all be freaks. Or maybe then the word wouldn't even exist. Shit. I wonder who decides what looks good anyways. So, you can call me a goth if it makes you feel better to label me. Or you can think that I'm a depressed kid who sees the world as a horrible place and worships Satan. Or you can think that I have an AK sitting in my closet, just waiting for someone to push me over the edge so I can take out the whole school. Or you can know the truth. It's up to you. Don't be afraid of the dark.
Remember when we were young and nothing mattered?
The best part of the day was recess, when we all got to play.
And it didn't matter how you look like, we could all just play? Hey guys, can I play?
Sure.
Life was so fun. It didn't matter if my skin shade was a different color than yours, or if my clothes weren't as good as yours. All that mattered was just fun. We were all united against one cause. Boys.
Boys? Ew!
But then we got older, and we began to separate ourselves. And our viewpoints changed.
Boys.
And for some stupid reason, things started to get competitive.
Hey, what's up, girl?
None. What's their problem?
I don't know, but thanks for helping me with math last weekend.
No problem. Anyways, we're going for lunch today. You want to come?
Sorry, I already got plans, but I'll catch you later.
Okay.
Bye. Hey,
Why are you talking to her?
I don't know, we go way back.
Didn't you see what she's wearing?
I know. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Why do we have to stab each other like that? Is it for boys?
Is it because there's so many of us we have to compete? Why?
I don't know. I just wish we could just go back to a time when there was no judging and when we could just all play.
When we were together. Just girls.
And in the 15th century, they moved on to... Chiari, could you please pay attention?
I am.
And as I was saying, in the 15th century, they moved on to... Chiari, please.
God, I can pay attention and talk at the same time.
Chiari.
Yes, Miss Drew. That's Joe. What is it, Julie?
Chiari.
I'm sorry, but sometimes I just can't sit down and be quiet. As a matter of fact, I'm going to teach class today. Class is in session. Well then, I think today's lesson out of necessity should be about culture. You see, boys and girls, we all come from different cultures. Because your own family is your own culture. Did you know that? No two family does the same thing at home as another. From the big to the small things that your family does greatly affects how you live your life. So even you white kids out there who are complaining about you don't have any culture, you do. It just doesn't come from where you expect. Therefore, it's very important that we respect each other's cultures, because in a way, we all have different cultures. Once we respect, we can learn, not the other way around. So you see, it starts with respect. Respecting someone different is the most important lesson I can teach you today, class. Take learning, for example. A lot of teachers, myself excluded, don't understand the cultures of their students. So how can they teach them, you ask? Most of the time, teachers expect students to conform to their personal culture. When this fails, you have a lot of students in that class with poor grades. Let's take me, for example. A large part of my culture comes from the African American culture. A lot of teachers in America have trouble teaching them because they can never understand why black students are so loud or why they have such a lack of patience. I must admit, the reason why I speak out sometimes in class is because I'm hella bored. But most of the time the reason why I do it is because that's how things are done in my culture. Anyone who's been to a black church knows this. If you got something to say, you say it. You don't raise your hand. This dates all the way back to Africa, where words aren't left inside, they're put out on the table so that they can be dealt with. And if more teachers knew about this, they will discover or look for better ways to help their students. Now today we're going to talk a little bit about stereotypes, so that if you ever hear a bad one, you can correct it, okay? Now, there's a lot of stereotypes about Samoans, like they're big, tough, and they're stupid. But I know a couple of Samoans who are small and gentle. Some are even smart, like me. Some people go as far as to say that Samoans are retarded black people. We have to remember that Samoans are very beautiful people with rich culture and traditions. Did you know that there's a Samoan church right here in Seattle? There, now, you can see that learning about somebody else's culture can be fun. Now, if you ever try to get somebody else to understand something, you have to understand them first. Then you'll understand the best way to teach them. It all starts with understanding. Class is dismissed. What makes a man?
Is it the way that he walks or dresses?
The kind of car he drives, or it's the way that he dances?
Some say what makes a man is how he treats a woman.
Does he treat her with respect?
But before he can treat her at all, he has to get her attention.
Let's look at different ways we can execute this, shall we? Hey, sorry to stop you like that, but my name's James. Can I talk to you for a second?
Sure. Now let's look at another approach. Hey, mamacita, let me talk to you, girl. Oh, come on, can I get your number? Whatever, bitch.
Notice how when she showed that she wasn't interested, the young man proceeded to call after her. And when she moved on, he made sure to call her name so that if she didn't turn around, she must have been a terrible person. Now let's look at another example. Hey, hold up, girl. Would you come over here and talk to me for a second?
No, I'm sorry, I don't have time.
What? You ain't got time for this?
No, I don't.
Hell no. Keep walking then, bitch.
Notice how they both ended with the young lady being called an offensive name. But they're both outdone by the absolute worst way.
Hey!
The worst way.
If the only way you know how to get a girl's attention is to grab her, then you better expect something physical in return. So I suggest you better watch your ass.
And if you're going to start off by disrespecting us, then your games need some work.
Then again, don't even think about it, because everybody knows a real man when he grab a woman.
Look at her over there. She's always talking shit about me. And always looking over here. Stupid FO.
Quick translation. FOB. Fresh off the boat. Is it that you're so bored and self-centered that when you hear someone talking in a different language, it has to be something about you?
I love that I can speak another language, the language of my people. But it's really hard sometimes. This guy came up to me one time and asked me how to say hello in my language. So I told him. He said, "Your language is stupid," and laughed. Like I was supposed to laugh right back with him. It really hurts. I guess it's easier to make fun of someone than trying to understand them.
Yes, I do have a scar that showed that I wasn't born in this country. But that doesn't mean that I don't belong here. Or I don't have as much right to be here as you. So the next time I hear, go back to your country, I'm gonna say, why won't you go back to yours?
Because this country was formed and dominated by immigrants. You hating me being here is probably the same kind of ignorance your ancestors faced when they first got here.
America is and always has been diverse with many races and religion, and I love it.
I am Laotian American.
I am Vietnamese American.
And if you don't like it, you can go back to where you came from.
Banja Luka. I was born in Bosnia, in a town called Banja Luka. I remember it was very green and very energetic. There were always things to see and places to go. The streets were always busy with a lot of people. And for the kids, there were games to watch and places to go. The neighborhoods were very small, so when the parents wanted to call their kids home, all they did was stick their heads out of the window. Safeta! Safeta! Vreme dođeš kući! Every bus had a Serb soldier on it. If you were a Muslim, they would make you pay extra, and if you were a woman, they would harass you. Me and my mother were riding a bus, and a soldier asked my name. She was so scared, she started to squeeze my hand tighter and tighter until I started to cry. It became so dangerous, we had to start walking everywhere. When Milosevic came into power, he turned the tension that was always there between the Muslims and the Serbs into an all-out war. There were tanks moving through the streets. You couldn't wear green because it showed you were a Muslim. When a soldier walks by you, you can't tell him your real name because you were Muslim. You had to make up a name so they'd harass you. It became so dangerous, we had to start walking everywhere. More and more things came at night. Then the lights came. The shootings and the bombings between Serbians and Muslims. Especially in Sarajevo, where my aunt lived. There was a hill where you could go at night and see all the shooting lights. Innocent people were bombed. Buildings, houses, and stores. Over time, nearly every mosque was destroyed. Then my father was taken by the Serbs. Serbs had war camps where they made innocent Muslims, especially men, work for them as their servants. The only way to get him out was to buy him out. My mother was forced to sell my father's business and pay the soldiers with cigarettes. We had to escape to go to Sweden, but the people that were supposed to help us lied to us. So, for the next 3 years of my life, we spent it in refugee camps. They were more like prisons. There were 2 big buildings. We lived in one, and in the other, living in luxury, were the Serbs, who controlled the camp. Box rooms, black walls, and wires everywhere. The main things we had to eat were sour milk and yogurt, because they said that's all they had. And we had to keep our hair really short because of all the lice. We had to share bathrooms, which was really hard, because they were right in the room, and no one really had any privacy. Roads going in and out of Bosnia and the camps were controlled by the Serbs. The only way out was through a lottery. There were thousands of families in the camps, and every day there was a drawing to see who could be sponsored to leave to another country. Somehow we were lucky enough to be drawn twice. But the only way it would work was for us to lie about who we were and where we came from. The first time we got caught in a lie, and the second time with a little help from another family, after 3 years we made it out. The first thing that my mother did when we arrived in our apartment in America was go to the bathroom. The first time she had real privacy in almost 3 years. After more dealing, the sponsors helped us come to Seattle. Today, I am free to carry on my culture with pride and there are very many Bosnian Muslims living in America today. Yes, I am a Muslim, and I choose not to cover. I am still just as devoted to Allah and my religion as anyone else. If a Christian doesn't wear a cross around their neck, does that mean they're less devoted to Jesus? This is a country of freedom. We're all supposed to be free to express ourselves in any way we choose, as long as we're not harming anyone else. But don't forget that it's okay to ask. Ask about someone's culture, ask about someone's religion. Questioning leads to understanding, and understanding is the best weapon against ignorance, against history repeating itself.